the Revit element hierarchy and how Revit elements are organized. All the elements found in the Revit software can be explained in a structured hierarchy. To understand Revit, it's important to understand this hierarchy. At the top of the hierarchy are categories. The categories divided into families. Families can have one or more types. At the very bottom and last in the hierarchy, we have instance. The elements in Revit are represented according to the hierarchy. We can see in this example that we have 3 doors of the same type. It means that we have 3 instances. The door marked is of the standard type. Furthermore, it's under the single flash family. Finally, the family is under the category doors. From the top of the hierarchy, we have category, family, type, instance. At the very top of the hierarchy, we have categories. A category controls the organization, visibility, graphical representations, and scheduling options of families within the project. Categories are built into the Revit software, and we as users cannot rename, change, or edit them. The most familiar and common categories found in the software are model elements. For example, the model elements can be walls, floors, or doors. We have many different elements in Revit. There are categories for all kinds of elements. Now we can go a little deeper to understand better. We can start with broad grouping. All the elements of the software can be broadly grouped into one or more groups. In Revit, all the elements are divided into model element, view element, datum element, view specific elements. Model element is divided into host elements and component elements. View specific elements are divided into detail elements and annotation elements. Model element represents a real thing in the model when it's to be built. Everything that is built and you can touch it in the building is a model element. For example, for host element we have walls and floors. For component elements we have doors. As we can see from this flowchart, under view specific elements we have annotation elements such as text notes and dimensions. Note that annotation elements are things that are not real. They are things that describe objects in the drawing when the model is to be built. These annotations shall not be built. All annotations are representational objects that are meaningful to an architectural drawing, but they are not actual physical objects. Remember that if you change a model element, it will change in all other views, while annotation elements can only belong to one view. If you change an annotation element in one view, it will not change in another view. Annotation is view specific. Next, we have detail elements under view specific elements such as lines and field regions, and we have view elements such as flow, plans, elevation, and sections. In addition, we have datum elements such as column, grids, and levels. It's important to understand that it's not possible to change categories as users. Elements automatically inherit the properties of the category. Every element in the Revit program will automatically use the correct category, and an element will never end up in the wrong category. That makes the category powerful. Categories import many important special behaviors on their elements. For example, we can consider walls. We look at this example. Walls have many expected wall-like behaviors. Walls have length and height, and we can change the values as it suits to our project. Walls will enclose space. Walls can host doors, windows, and other elements. Now, conversely, doors and windows must be placed on a wall host. Doors and windows will automatically cut a hole in that host and will automatically remain connected to that host wall. The next level in the hierarchy is the family. A family is a grouping of 2D and or 3D information that serves to represent a discrete building or documentation element in the project. It defines parametric, graphical, and documentation requirements. You can think of it in terms of a collection of elements that share common properties, behavior, and settings. So they are all related in some way, like a family. Each category contains at least one family, but in many other cases there may be several. For example, let's consider the category doors. Doors come in all kinds of shapes, sizes, and configurations. We can have double flush, single flush, overhead, entrance door, and so on. And each of these are more specific and are examples of what a family is. Categories are when we say doors, but that's general and does not specify what type of doors we are talking about. But the family is when we want to get to a very specific type of door. A type is a specific representation in a family defined by distinct parametric, graphical, and documentation characteristic, which makes it unique from other types in the family. For example, even if we can say that we have a single flush door, there may be several variations possible within the door itself. So these variations are called types. So a type is simply a stored and named variant of a family. As we can see from this example, a common variant can be the size of the door. Let's say we have a standard size, a wide size, and finally a tall size. Now that the general configuration in all three cases will remain the same and be constant and driven by the single flush family, but the specific widths and heights will vary by type. An instance is an individual representation of a type in the project defined by unique parametric, graphical, and documentation characteristic, which makes it unique from other instances in the project. The instances will have their own properties. You can select individual instance and change only that instance and not others. An example could be this door that is selected. These three doors are of the same type, but each with different opening angles. We see that instance one has a angle 45, but others have other opening angles. These differences will be instance level properties and not driven by the type, family, or category. One way to think about the Revit hierarchy is that you can start at the instance and say that the instance belongs to a type. The type is part of a wider family, and the family is part of the category. In this video, it's presented only a general idea of how the hierarchy works and what kind of behavior each level provides. In time, as you learn the program, you will see the importance of this, and as you get comfortable with the software, you will see how pervasive categories, families, types, and instances will be across all of your work for each project.